Greetings, family. This is Joan Vivek here, aka Aina, here with you in this time space, supported, blessed, and guided by my ancestral lineage, and with and light healing energies which continue to balance, support, and guide me. At this time, we're gonna begin uh, a discussion on examination of numerology. Now, numerology is one of the ways of gaining a deeper knowledge of self. I know that studies such as these are often touted as a fortune telling um, systems like numerology and astrology and these things. But in my experience, numerology is not about telling somebody's future. What numerology does is help you to get a deeper and wider understanding of yourself so that you can better create the kind of future that you would like to have for yourself. Okay, so the numbers are used because the numbers have their own vibration, each number, and we are born carrying certain vibrations which coincide with some of the numerical vibrations. And by understanding that relationship, we are able to get a deeper sense of self. So this is the angle that these videos that I'm going to be doing would be taking. It's not about telling somebody's future or fortune, because quite frankly, I don't think anybody could tell my or anybody else's future. There is so much that goes into life in terms of um, the choices that we make every day that continues to shift things, circumstances, situations in ways that are really unpredictable. But numerology can help us to get a deeper insight into our own characteristics and our sort of like our mission here, our life path, um, general guidelines as to what what's the word I'm looking for, as to compatible careers and partners and that kind of thing. But at the end of it all, we make the choices, we make the decisions. So I'm not going to be discussing anything about fortune telling, but I am going to be getting into how we can have personal insights into self, leading to growth and development. Now, in this time where I call it, we are going through now an enforced initiation, right? We didn't choose it, but there it is. With this pandemic, we can't go outside. So we are forced to get inside ourselves. It's not just the inside of our homes, but we have to get inside ourselves because we are now being called upon to make these life-changing decisions, and vaccinate or not vaccinate. Um, we also have to look at doing things differently from what was our previous norm. So how do we cope with those things if we don't know self? And I think it is even more crucial now that we get to know ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly of self. Alright? So we build on the good and we learn from the bad and sort of work to neutralize the ugly. Alright? So, but it's all about self building. So let us spend some time trying to work on self so that by the time borders open up, we will be we will be opened up as well to who we truly are and understand how we can go forward in different and new circumstances. Okay, so this is where I'm coming from in terms of this study of numerology. So, um, so let's just talk a little bit about the numbers. We use numbers all the time. We use numbers. I think most of us are most familiar with using the numbers for the playway, right? So we look at lucky numbers. We look at um, people have raffles and raffle drawing. We have how else we use numbers? We use numbers to mark our homes, like street numbers. Um, we use numbers in finance systems. We use numbers all the time in so many ways, right? So this is just numerology, is just another way to use numbers, not just for the numerical value or the mathematical value that it holds, but more so for the energy patterns or the vibrations that it carries. Because we know that everything is energy, all right? And everything, everything, including humans, generally, everything that is has a vibration. Now, what helps us to determine or to identify different things and also people would be the rate of vibrations. So that a cup would have a particular vibration, so that when we see that, we understand that it is a cup, it is something that could hold liquid, or it is a vessel, it is something we know that it's going to hold because of its vibration. So vibrations help us to identify and understand the purpose of things. So too with numbers. Numbers have their own characteristics and their own energy values. And as I said before, I mentioned before, because we do have vibrations, we have found ways to kind of identify how the characteristics of the numbers match our own vibrations depending on time of birth, date of birth, um, person's name, and that kind of thing. So instead of just talking about it, let's get right into it and we'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But even before I do so, let me state that this is by no means a comprehensive study of numerology. What I'm going to be doing here would be trying to whet the appetite of those who are seeking deeper knowledge of self, you know, because self knowledge is so important. If you don't understand yourself, chances are, life could be so much more difficult because you don't know how to respond properly to situations and circumstances within which you may be placed. All right, so let's. I'm hoping that this information would, as I said, whet your appetite and help you and encourage you to do your own research and so add your personal insights into your quest for self knowledge and growth. All right, so we're going to start by just giving you some of the general vibrations and patterns associated with the various numbers, okay, before we get into specifics. So the first thing we want to talk about is the zero. All right, the zero. Now, when we're talking about the energy and the pattern of the zero, we must get into the field of the duality of things and the law of opposites. Um, so, for instance, we know there's high and low, there's in and out, there's up and down, and that kind of thing. All right, those kind of relations. So when we look at the zero here, we see nothing in the middle here, nothing, because that's another. Another way we say zero, we say naught, we say nil, so it refers to nothing, right? So inside a zero, really, you see nothing. It's just empty space, right? However, the line that is marking the circumference is a circle. And we know that a circle really signifies um, something that's everlasting, something that is whole, something that is complete. It has no beginning, it has no end, right? A circle, and this is why we use the ring as a symbol uh, for marriage, for instance, because marriage is supposed to be forever, right? So we see nothing inside here, surrounded by a symbol that is equated with everlastingness, with completeness, with wholeness, and so the everything, the wholeness, the totality of everything, impacting on the nothing or the nothing, eventually started to cause form to take shape. And so the numbers were formed out of this no thing and the interaction of the no thing with everything. Shape began to take form and numbers started to materialize. So this no thing or this naught or this nil really is the womb from which everything emerged. Alright? So that I just wanted to go through the zero first so you get a sense that zero, even though nothing is contained or nothing is contained here, potential for everything. It is ringed by the potential for everything. And that interaction caused formations to take shape, and so the numbers emerged. Okay, so that's zero first. Let's go now to the one. The one. Okay. Yeah. Well, we know one, right? So the one was the first to emerge, the first number to emerge. And being the first, one is the pioneer. One has so many possibilities, all right? Because one was the first, there was nothing else besides one when that was the first number to take shape. So everything else was there, and one had the potential to do whatever it needed to. It had to have the vision and the foresight and understand how to work to achieve whatever it needed. But whatever it needed was possible. Alright, so the one vibration carries with it um, endless possibilities, um, a pioneering vibration, a vibration of self-governance kind of way, because the one is self-contained, it had to be everything unto itself. Um, the one, um, something I just wanted to say about the one in Mississippi. Um, okay, the one also, yes, that's what I was going to say. The one is is that vibration is capable of standing alone, of course, because it had to in the beginning. So that vibration is capable of standing alone, but it also lends support to all the other numbers coming down the line. Because remember, the 2 is a 1 plus 1. The 3 is a 1 plus 1 plus 1. Right? So the the 1 is capable of standing on its own, but it also lends support to all the other numerical vibrations along the line. The one is powerful in itself, but the one has to guard against um, becoming egotistical and narcissistic and that kind of thing, and not considering anything or um, anybody else's feelings and thoughts. So, as with all vibrations, you have the positive side and you have the negative side. So, we'll talk a bit about the positive and the negative. So, that was one, and let's move on now to the number two. Just a second here. Alright, so we have the number two. Okay, notice the difference in the shape. The one is standing erect, the two is bending and curving. And if you place a 1 in front, you will realize that the 2 is bending towards the 1 and it's arching and facing the 1, sort of like in support or in service to the 1, in relationship to the 1. So if the 1 was here, you will see that the 2 starts off bowing to the 1 and still its focus, a lot of its shape is directed towards the 1. And the 2 vibration um, is one of service. It is one of seeking relationships. The the 2 doesn't want to stand alone. The 2 wants it is a supportive vibration. So those who carry that vibration tend to be supportive of others. They tend to want relationships to work. They tend to be tactful. They're careful with what they're saying, and because they don't want to hurt the feelings of someone else. So the 2 is a supportive vibration. Um, what the 2 has to be wary of is being taken advantage of by others who might recognize its need for service and its need for relationships and may want to, um, as I say, take advantage of them. So that's the 2 in a nutshell. Let's go on to 3. Oh, one of the things I neglected to mention with the 2 is that because it's a story, right? The numbers, talking about these root numbers is a story. As I said, the 1 was the first to emerge from the new thing, the interaction of the new thing and the potential for everything. Was the first one to emerge was the 1. Then, of course, being there alone, 1 would want to have a companion. So enter the 2 with its attributes of service and wanting relationships and that kind of thing. Okay, so let's go on to the 3. The 3 now is about self-expression. The 3, um, building on that story, when you have a relationship going, you need to be able to express yourself, to say what you think, what you feel. This is how the other person would know where you're at and what's happening with you. If you cannot do that, then the relationship or the degree to which you can do that is the degree to which the relationship is going to be successful, right? So the 3 is about self-expression. See the loop in and the loop in? Alright, so the 3 vibration tends to belong to someone who's artistic, someone who is a storyteller, dancer, a singer, somebody who finds ways and means of that self-expression. There's a very expressive number. Alright, so 3 is about that vibration. What 3s have to work to be careful about is that they're expressing so much of themselves, putting out so much of themselves that they're not examining um, doing any internal work, and therefore they can become like shallow in the sense that everything that you're putting out, and you're not taking care of yourself as well. They have to look at their health as well, you know. So with all this expressing and expressing, three needs to learn to be a little bit more stable, so they need to look for stability. All right, so that's three. Number four now. If we look at the number four, we see lines, right? Straight lines. We're not seeing the loops as we have with the three. If we look here, we can see where angles could be formed, triangles, squares, all that could be formed out of these straight lines in the four. And this is this is what four is. Four is about structure. Remember, we said the three is a very expressive number, you know. It's all about expressing and being visionary and all about putting self out there in so many ways, right? Four comes along and brings structure to the table. Four is going to say, okay, it's all well and good to be expressing. Where we going? What are we doing? You know? And four is going to want to harness things, rein things in a bit to give it form. You know? Four is going to be the one to say, let us look at the resources we have, let us look at the resources we can obtain to see how we can reach these targets, because three is all about having the ideas. Four is going to want to put some structures in place to see how best those ideas can be implemented. So this is the four. The four is about structure. And what the four has to guard against now is exactly the opposite. The four and the three are kind of like opposing in the sense that the four now has to guard against um, spending so much time in structure that you forget to do the implementing. Some people spend so much time making up plans that when it's time to implement, they kind of lost. For us to guard against spending all the time planning and being stuck in that and not getting any implementation done. But four is good for putting structure into things. All right. Let's get on to the five. Now the five is an exciting vibration. Really is. Um, I like fives. Fives are amazing for me. Um, Let me see how we talk about the five. The five is like an unstoppable vibration. The five finds opportunity in almost any situation. For instance, this pandemic that we're in here, and people getting all frustrated and panicking and all that, five finding a way, five going to find a way to make it, to get things done and to organize through this. This pandemic can't keep a five down. Alright? Fives, if you look at the number, five is based on what we call a rocker. You see the bottom of the figure, it's bellying out, and then it is on like, for those who remember the long time rocking chairs, the base of the five is like that of the legs of the rocker. Alright? So it means that five is not a stationary that vibration. Five moves, and fives are just movers and shakers. They they are really wonderful. They are movers and shakers. They are the ones who, when structure is put in place, like we have the four who's going to put structure in. Um, The five is going to build on that. Okay, let me go back a bit. The four, to be very basic, when we're putting up a building, we have like four corners. We have the four pillars, or the four posts. We have four walls, right? First, let's look at a simple structure. Right, so that's what four is going to put the form. And when you put the form in, when you build a structure, it is going to be for a particular intention, right? So it's going to be either a house, a school, a church, an office, something of the sort. The building is going to have a purpose. Having built that now, the five is going to be the one to get that going. The five is the one who's going to go out there and get the stuff in. Fives are wonderful salespeople as well. Alright? So they are movers. They're going to bring the resources in. They're gonna bring it. They talk about bringing something, they're going to bring it. You give them the idea and they will bring it. And even if you don't have the idea, because um, you may be feeling like dejected and things hard, things bad, and all that. If a five meets you at that point, a positive five is going to show you a way to get things done. You know, come, you can do this. Let's go here, let's do this. Fives bring it. Alright, so I think fives are really good resources to have around. Yeah? So that's the five. But the five has to guard against, I didn't talk about that. The five has to guard against um, as I said, it's not a rocker, right? It likes to be free. Five doesn't want to be boxed in. So, what five has to guard against is its positive. It has to remember to use its freedom in positive ways and not get caught up in things like drug abuse and alcohol abuse and that kind of thing. So, fives have to be mindful of that to remain positive in the use of their freedom, and they are gems, really gems to have around. Right? So we come to the six. The six is another service number, another vibration that deals with service, and in this case, though the six deals with family and community. Now, look at the formation of the six, right? When we write in numbers, we look at the top, we consider the upper realms or the heavens, if you will, and the bottom would be the earthly plane, the earth plane, right? So you see that the largest and most expansive part of the six is on the earth plane, all right? And so this is how this is where the six is on the earth plane. And the way the six does that is to build family, to build community. The six is happy when it is in a happy household. The six um, let's see how to. The six so loves family and community that the six is that vibration that is going to build a family, even if it doesn't have a biological family around. The six is that cohesive energy that is going to make family, whether it is in the office, in in the in the community. They're going to form a group. They're gonna build family, and that energy is going to be the one that's going to make you feel comfortable, feel a part of something. You know, they generate that kind of feeling at homeliness, and yeah, so that's what the six is about. The six has an idea of what family looks like, and they try to generate that wherever they go. So the six is that vibration and it's going to make you feel at home. You know? Again, too, as with the other service numbers, with the two, the six has to be mindful of being made a kind of doormat thing. People recognize your need for family and they can take advantage of that. So the six has to be very careful of that. But the six is big on family, you know. They like family and they go out and make family if they don't have one. Right? So that's the six. Now let us take a look at a biggie. We're coming into the seven. Again, we see straight lines. Again, we see, no, this is the first one we see. We're looking here, as we said, the top it signifies the heavens, and we see this is where the seven is balanced on top, not below. Below, it doesn't have very much footing in the earthly plane. Right? It just touches there, but it doesn't have much footing in the earthly plane. Most of its balance is in the heavens. And so, sevens, those who carry the number seven are the mystics. They are the ones who do a lot of meditation, a lot of soul searching. They deal a lot with the occult. And please, I must add in here that occult does not mean witchcraft or anything negative. All occult means is hidden. Alright, so let's clarify that. So the sevens don't just look at things on a surface level. They want to get below, they want to understand, they want to analyze, they want to see what else is there. Right? So they are good researchers. They are also very, very, very spiritual, as I said. They will do the meditation and all that kind of thing. They have an innate or inborn connection to the cosmic flow. So they tend to get messages and dreams and that kind of thing. And sevens are difficult to understand. They spend a lot of time by themselves because I said that they are big on soul work, mental work, spiritual, and so they need that space to be alone to do their work. And they're difficult to get to know. You would have to really, really want to get to know a seven because they don't open up easily. And yeah, they don't open up easily. They just don't see the need, you know. And so you would really have to be around them for a while for them to get to trust you so that they will open up to you. They are not big talkers. Oh, they have a lot to say, but they don't just talk to talk sake. When they speak, normally it's to benefit somebody or something. All right. Sevens, what they have to guard against is um, two main things. One is being so caught up in the spirit realm and mental world that they neglect or they don't have a balance with the everyday living. All right. And secondly, they can get um, caught up in material things, you know, seeking to get this, to get that, to get house, to get land, to get all that, and neglect their spiritual development. And in that case, in either case, even though they're successful, they will not they will not be balanced. So they have to find a way to balance their spiritual growth with their day-to-day life. And for the seven, that's a difficult task, you know. So that's the seven vibration. Let's see with the eight. And the eight now, the eight is the has the vibration of the executive. The 8 is the one that is going to be dealing with the material realm, and and for somebody carrying the 8 vibration, material things matter. The nice home and the nice car and the big job and all that matters to this person carrying the 8 vibration. They are generally the executives and the CEOs and people in high positions in companies, and or they can also be running their own company, so they can be entrepreneurs as well, right? They have that strong ability for um, developing in terms of material wealth and growth. All right. What they have to guard against, it says it right here because we see the top. Basically, it's two circles, right? Top and bottom, as above, so below. So, in as much as you're seeking after all this material stuff, they have to guard against neglecting their spiritual self as well. They have to find that balance. But these people are very good in running businesses, um, being top level executives and all that. Persons with 8 vibration. Okay? Finally, we come to the 9. The 9 is at the end of the road. The 9 has completed the journey and is now, if you look at how the 9 is, the the ballooning effect is at the top, and it is in the heavens, right at the top, and it is facing back at the lower digits. So somebody carrying a 9 vibration generally is a humanitarian. They they would have completed their work, and they're now looking back to see how can I help you all, right? The ones lower down the line, right? So it's like we been given a task, and one person is finished and the others are still working, and the one who's finished now looks back and say, okay, I am done. Anybody need help? Can I help you? That kind of thing. So the 9 vibration is the humanitarian. They tend to give, um, even though they may not have much materially, they tend to be the ones that give. Once they see there's a need, they're going to give. And yeah, so what the 9 has to guard against is being so. The negative 9, let's put it another way. The negative 9 is just the opposite to the positive 9. The negative 9 is going to want to hold on to everything that they have attained just for self, just grab on and hold on to everything, and they're not going to want to share. Whereas the positive 9 is the humanitarian, is going to share the wisdom that they have gained throughout the journey up, and is going to share it back or feed it back to those who are in need and who are coming up along the way. Alright, so that's the positive as opposed to the negative 9. So that is the story of the numbers coming from being birthed by the 0 straight down to the number 9. There are a couple of the considerations that we're going to do before we get into the life path. We're going to do the master numbers. Yeah, I think I'll do the master numbers next video, and I will show you how to calculate your life path number. Right? Um, the other areas we're going to look at with these videos, we're going to look at the life path, we're going to look at the birthday, we're going to look at the expression, and we're going to look at the soul image. So we're going to use those 4. You see the number 4? We're going to use those 4 pillars to give us greater insight into self. All right. So again, that will be it. That will be it for this this video, and I'll come back with the second one, but as I said, the master numbers and how to work out your life path, and we'll take it from there. All right, so I do hope that it has been of help to you. The words that I've spoken have been some help to you along your path, and we're going to look next video at the application. We just went through generally some of the vibrations, the vibrational patterns of these numbers, and we're going to look at the application of these numbers next time. So if this has been helpful to you, or or you've gained anything from it, please like it. If you think that it can help someone else, please share it with them. And also you can subscribe to the channel so that when the other videos come out, you will be notified. So I leave you as I came, with the blessings of my ancestors and all the universal life healing energies that constantly support and guide me. I thank you for your time and your attention, and please, let's work to get to know ourselves better. There's so much to know about you that you will be amazed. Ashe, Ashe.